time for the daily crypto update, and we're going to focus on weekly and also some monthly charts today, the ones that have more data. Simply for the fact because we need to understand what we're dealing with on the high time frame. So starting with total, what do we really see? We see that price is going back down through the conversion line on the weekly chart, and there's so much support below. Right, the baseline is at 3.45 trillion. The 50-week moving average is at 3.33 trillion. We go to the monthly chart. It still just went down to retest the monthly conversion line. That's it. That's all price did during that scary Friday stuff, right? And we're still holding. So this is proof we're still in a bullish trend for total, right? We're still in a bullish trend. No fear. What I'm watching for Sunday, though, for a weekly candle close, is really just staying in the zone, right? Basically staying above the baseline. That's what I'm watching the most. 3.45 trillion, because the baseline has been a bottoming process right here, right? It's been a bottoming process before it really went higher, right? There's only a short period of time where I went below the baseline before, but stabilizing above it just means it's going to go higher. So we're not going to worry too much about the total crypto market cap. Support is holding. Monthly support is holding. All of it is holding. Others, here's another one that people are panicking on, and look what price is doing right now. Back to the weekly baseline right there. I would not have guessed it went so low, but it kind of makes sense, right? Because last week it was a bearish engulfing candle, getting rejected at a massive resistance level, cutting through multiple levels. So it makes sense it's going to retest levels. So I want to be watching that conversion or that baseline down there. Actually, the conversion and the baseline are the exact same price, right? So that's 249.74. That's basically where price is right now. So this, in fact, could be a bottom for the altcoins. Also, when we go to the monthly chart, look at that. Look at that. It's the top of the monthly cloud. So, am I scared? No, even the conversion line there is 249.74. I'm not scared of this price action at all. With this huge volatility here, all we're seeing is a successful backtest for the first month since it broke out. Look at that, right? It broke out in July, did not backtest it in August, did not backtest it in September, but it backtested it in October. So we have confluence of support right now. Now, I know what you're thinking, like, oh, what? But Matt, what if that baseline on the weekly chart breaks and it wants to go retest the 233? Well, then it breaks, right? Because it's still a higher low from here, right? Let's just look at the series of higher lows from the bottom over here, right? From here, higher low, higher low, higher low. Even a back test there is still a higher low, right? All it really means, what is happening now with this rejection, all this means is longer, more time. That's it. More time to accumulate, longer. There is no fear at all. And if it did go deeper, all price would be doing is going deeper into the cloud, and even the 50-month moving average is way down there at 216, right? This is not bearish. This is not a bearish monthly chart. We know this because we've seen this setup before. We've seen this setup multiple times before. And look at the last time it broke the monthly cloud, it only backtested it one time and never looked back. Now we're just backtesting it a few times. Even right here, we backtested a few times. So it's a little bit different of a formation, but we've seen it before. A break of the monthly cloud and a backtest of the monthly cloud led to explosions, right? But this was also breaking the arc at the same time, right? See, we don't have this break of the arc right here. Not yet. So patience, guys. Patience. I just want to show you that nothing is broken on the high time frame. All right, now let's take it to Bitcoin monthly chart. And look at the Bitcoin conversion line on the monthly chart. It's still at 100,000. So can it go back and backtest it? Yeah, you bet. Right? Of course. And the 1.272 fib is right there too at 103. So if it wants to go down there, it can. On the weekly chart, it's going back to the baseline, and actually it still has not even touched the baseline yet. So does it want to do that? It's a possibility. because it's 105,703, and on linear scale, guess what else is at 105? It's right here. It's the green Gann level. So that's a previous resistance, breakout, back test, flipping it to support. So going back to 105 would make sense if these arcs cannot hold. So far it is holding, right? Because we've seen it before, close below and then recover. So it is basically holding the arc as support on linear scale. But there is so much confluence at 105, 105.7, 105.5. Right there is the green Gann level. Also, it's the baseline, the same exact price. So yeah, maybe it does want to go for a flush down, right? But we'll see how price reacts if it wants to get to that baseline. And let's not forget, for Bitcoin, it's a breakout of the baseline, and it never touched this orange baseline since it broke out. We can't forget about that either, right? April 21st was the week it broke out of this baseline here, and it never touched it once. Still hasn't. Even through all this fear and weakness, it still hasn't. So I am not going to be afraid of this setup, even if it goes to 105, right? Because high time frame is fine. Even the monthly chart here, high time frame is fine. We can even look at the 2-week chart here, and the conversion line is up here at 112.989, but it's basically been right in the same zone. Let's just draw a line right here. Look at it. It's been in the same 2-week range with the previous resistance area flipping to support. I like this 2-week vision, right? So it's not even guaranteed to hit 105 because there is current support, right? You can see it right here too. The arc is right here. It's current support. It's just wicking through it right now. So I love this zone, to be honest. 108, I love it. 105, I'll love it even more. 103, yes, I would love it extremely a good amount, right? I'm not afraid of this. It's a bullish chart. We're going to just keep focusing here on monthly candles, weekly candles, 2-week candles. Everything is holding support. Now let's look at Ethereum. It is going below the 4,006 again, but there's still 3 days left for the weekly candle close. So that is, of course, going to be the goal. It's going to be the goal to close above on Sunday. We can go to the monthly chart. Just take a look at what's really developing here. And for the past 2 months, it has been flipping this 4,006 to a support. So there is still time to close weekly and monthly candles because there's 15 days left into the monthly candle close. But not only that, if we just looked at what's really happening here with this previous support area, previous resistance area with the bodies of the monthly candle, the bodies, right? We can even take it down a little bit lower. The bodies of these monthly candles, this body, right? That is 3644, right? That is a previous resistance. Even over here, it's a previous resistance flipping to support, right? This is not something that is bearish, right? And the monthly katana, we can't forget about that monthly katana either. The conversion and the baseline are the exact same price at 31.70. Not saying it has to go back down there, but I'm just saying it's well above it still, so maybe it just needs more time for these monthly averages to catch up to price. That's all. And look at that. Once it broke the cloud, it just took off. So that monthly cloud, again, is coming into play, just like on others I showed you, is setting the stage for continuation. So cannot be bearish about that. This is okay in my book. We just need more patience, more time. And also, we go to linear scale Ethereum here. Linear scale Ethereum, and look at that. Still holding the bottom arc, kind of like Bitcoin, right? Just like Bitcoin. Previous resistance, flipping to a support. So we're not even guaranteed to go back down to 35.42. Not even guaranteed, right? So we're going to keep watching this bottom arc, which is around 38.50, right? That is fine. And the top of the arc is right here at 42.30s, 42.40s. So that's also okay. We're just in a range in between arcs. So perfectly healthy development, and you can really illustrate previous resistance, flipping to a support. We're just below the 4,006 right now, just a little bit, right? Just a little bit. So what we're going to focus on is that for Sunday. Best case scenario, it closes above that. If we don't, it's okay, because we've seen levels close above levels before, but it meant nothing, right? Like right here. It closed above the 886 back in 2021, but it meant nothing. Nothing, right? And it just went lower, right? And even here, closed temporarily above the 786 here, but it meant nothing. It didn't mean it was going to break out back in March of last year or January of this year. Closing above that didn't mean anything. So the same can be true on the downside. Just one candle does not reverse a trend. And if it does, then it just means more time. That's simply it. But right now, I'm not really going to assume 3,500 just yet because this arc is still holding. So if this arc still holds, then there is still a lot of hope, right? 3850s, 3840s, and it's a bullish chart, right? There's nothing bearish. Even we can even look at the 2-week chart for Ethereum as well, and it already touched the weekly conversion line for the first time, right? That happened the last 2 weeks, so that's bullish, right? That happened on Friday last week, so it's a breakout. Right, never touched it. It broke out in July. Never touched it until then. So that's a bullish back test, which means it's not really guaranteed to go back down there, which is at 35.72, which is also right around this price here, 35.40. So even if it did want to go a little bit lower one more time, it doesn't scare me. It just gives me even more conviction that it's going to just take more time and be a lot more bullish later. So just patience, guys. Everything is fine. Nothing is scary at all. Dogecoin, we're going to look at the monthly candle too. And let's take a look at what happened this month so far. So look at that bottom of the cloud. Look at the 50-month moving average, the green level. And look at the 382 fib. All of it got hit with that Friday flush, 13,847. All of it. And now XRP. Well, I know a lot of people on X are talking about this 50-week moving average and how price is scarily below it. So scary. But what they don't see is finally after this massive breakout, it touched the cloud, right? Touched the cloud, also touched the 886, also even retested that 161 again, the 786. So they don't see that. And what they don't see as well is how important that 886 really is, right? Because actually, let's look at the monthly chart. And just look at that baseline right there, how it's 202. Finally touched that again after a few months of not touching it. But when you look at this baseline, we'll just take off the labels here so we can see things more clearly of that fib. Can you visualize with me what you see? Let's just go with where these bodies of these candles are right here. What do you see? The bodies of these previous top candles, every single weekly candle close has closed above the 2018 highs. On what planet is that a bearish development? It's not. It's not at all. This is something that just keeps on getting rejected month over month at the 331.70, which was the 2018 high, and it can't break out. So we already know from experience, if price can't break resistance, it goes back and retests lower levels. And that's exactly what we saw, but this was a massive lower level because we haven't seen anything like it. But not only that, also, since we look at this monthly candle back in July, this was a breakout, right? It was a breakout and a back test, and it's still above. So since this breakout back on July 1st, we have not seen a monthly candle close below it. That's bullish. Even throughout all this volatility, that's bullish. And it doesn't matter that the 886 is 225 and the previous all-time high is 331. That's a huge range. It doesn't matter about the range. It matters about the fib levels, because usually, depending on the chart, but usually, almost always, when a price is above and building a base on top of the 886 for a long period of time, the fib extensions above become possible, right? So this is just a normal process to becoming a lot more bullish. I'm not going to be afraid, and especially this baseline right here is still holding that support. So granted, yes, we do have the conversion line maybe losing a support or so, but it's okay, right? It's okay for the reason that it couldn't just never break above this 331. So what I'm interested in the most is this 886 fib, the 225.877. We can also put on the 2-week chart as well, and we can see last 2 weeks on Sunday, it closed below that conversion line, which caused price to be a little bit more volatile as well. But also that baseline is down there at 208. So we do have a lot of support, and even that 50 SMA on the 2-week chart is way down here. So we do have potential to keep exploding higher once this consolidation phase is done. And when is that going to be? Nobody knows, right? But what we can do is just watch price on Sunday. Best case scenario, stay above this 50-week moving average. That would be best case. But at least I want to see 225.877 hold as support, right? There is more support below it at the 210, 212, 27. I showed you before with the baseline, right? But best case scenario, 50-week. But at least 225. If it needs a little bit lower, that's fine, because there is no break of market structure. There's just a bunch of higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. That's it. Getting ready to go higher. And even though if it closes below the 50-week, it doesn't mean anything. Just look at it before. Look at this green 50-week moving average. Closes above, closes below, closes above, below, above, below. Like, look at how many times it was above and below. It just doesn't matter, right? They're just moving averages, so I wouldn't take those things too seriously, because it doesn't really matter too much in the end. So 225, let's watch that. That is what I'm most interested in. Everything else is just noise. Above the 886, super bullish. Even if it does go a little bit below, still bullish, because there is no break of market structure. Still higher lows completely.